It is no question that the Kansas City Chiefs on the offensive side of the ball have playmakers everywhere. But today, we are zoning in on 3 players who I believe are in place to have a breakout year. Now with that, let's cut the chit chat and let's have some fun. We basically here after a long, drooling off season. We're in the month of July, and y'all already know what that means. Training camp is literally around the corner. Then we got preseason football, and then we got banner night for the Kansas City Chiefs as they take on the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. So what better time in place to talk about potential breakout players for the Kansas City Chiefs than before training camp? In this video, we'll focus on the offensive side of the ball. And then later on, I will have focusing on the defensive side of the ball. So let's get into these 3 players. Now, my first player I'm going to bring up may rub Chiefs Kingdom the wrong way, but I believe he is due for a breakout year. And if you put penalties aside, he was quietly a formidable right tackle and is no other than Jawan Taylor. Now, Chiefs Kingdom, before you leave this video, please hear me out. Jawan Taylor, when the Kansas City Chiefs signed him, was an athletic, great run blocking right tackle. And a lot of Chiefs Kingdom believe they overpaid for him. I did as well. And then going into last year, what highlighted Jawan Taylor was his penalties. He had 20 in 1 year. It was a ridiculous amount. Now, I believe you and I can both agree that there is no way that Jawan Taylor is going to have 20 penalties next year. If he does, I will lose my mind. So believe that is going to be cut down. Now, let's just focus on the play. And one thing Jawan Taylor did very well last year was it was his best year in pass protection, where he only allowed 5 sacks. And with 1 full year under Andy Reid's system and playing and protecting Patrick Mahomes, you gotta believe that is gonna elevate his game and he's gonna take it to another level as well. So he's already increased his pass protection. If he can be a great run blocker as he always has been, and you cut down on the penalties, who's to say he is not in tune for a breakout year? I'm not saying he is going to be a top 5 right tackle in the league. Man, I would love to see it. But let's take baby steps. And I believe, like I said, we highlighting penalties. It's going to be my repetitive word for Jawan Taylor. But you literally cut that down. He is a good right tackle in this league. And then I believe just focus on the line and hole. Your only question mark will be that left tackle position, where that battle with Wanye Morris and Kingsley Samatea. But I believe on that right side, you're going to be locked down. You're going to be good. Jawan Taylor is going to take his game and elevate it to another level. And then Trey Smith, contract year. He's going to play his best ball of his career, because we all know contract year is undefeated. I'm excited to see what this Kansas City Chiefs O-line can do in 2024, and best believe it's going to elevate the line and the offense in total. Now, let's get to why y'all are really here, because when we talk about breakout players, y'all ain't focusing on the offensive line. So let's talk about playmakers, and let's go in the wide receiver room, and let's focus on newly acquired Marquise Hollywood Brown. Yes, I think he's due for a breakout year. And when a lot of people focus on Marquise Hollywood Brown, it's like, well, is he really going to have a breakout year when he's kind of established who he is in the NFL? Facts. But also, I believe he can elevate it to another level. If you look at Marquise Hollywood Brown, he's only had one 1,000-yard year in his career, and it was only 1,008 yards. And I really believe under Andy Reid, with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback, he can have his best yardage year of his career. The thing that's going to be kind of questionable in my eyes, and I've said it many a times, is what is the status of Rashee Rice? Now, there has been rumors this week that Rashee Rice may not even be suspended this year because Goodell doesn't like to touch on situations when they're active. And Rashee Rice is an active situation. There is nothing settled there. So if something happens to be settled from Rashee Rice during the NFL season, unfortunately, he can be suspended like in October, November, December, January. We've seen that happen with Kansas City Chiefs players in the past, and it looks like it could happen with Rashee Rice. So I really hate for it to unfold like that. I would like to see if Rashee Rice was going to get suspended, it'd be at the start of the season, but I understand. Everything's active. We don't know what it's going to come to as conclusion-wise, so Chiefs may start with him, but we'll have to see how it all unreveals. But that does impact on how Hollywood Brown can have production in 2024. But also, I think he could help it because they can be a dynamic duo. You can have Hollywood Brown break the top off, and you have Rashee Rice as your possession guy, your yak killer, and I think that would be a fun duo. And I believe that Hollywood Brown would become one of Mahomes' favorite weapons in Mahomes' career. He will break the top off, and as well, he is a great route runner. And I think the thing that Hollywood Brown would really like is he's never really been in a system like Andy Reid or the Kansas City Chiefs. Arizona, we already know that situation. And he didn't even have Kyler Murray last year. And it's just been a debacle to say nothing less. And then you go to Baltimore. It's a well-run organization. But we all know when you focus on the Baltimore Ravens, they're run, and that's what they like to do. And that's why you never really see a number one legit wide receiver coming out of the Ravens. So, Hollywood Brown, the time is yours to shine. Bring Hollywood to KC, and I would love to see what comes out of it. But I really believe he is poised for the best year of his career. And I hope it unfolds similar to kind of like Drew Tranquill. And what I mean by that is Drew Tranquill last year signed a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he impressed Chiefs Kingdom and the Chiefs organization to where the Chiefs wanted to sign him to a multi-year deal, and now he's with the Chiefs for the next 3 years. I'm hoping that's the same thing for Hollywood Brown, where he impresses, he balls out, and then he can sign an extension. It's rare. We don't typically see the Kansas City Chiefs do that. And I know, before you guys come at me in the comments, the positions are completely different. It's easier to pay a linebacker than it is a wide receiver. Because if Hollywood Brown goes over 1,000 yards and let's say double-digit touchdowns, he is easily a $20 million to $25 million receiver in this day and age. But man, if you can lock Hollywood Brown down and Rashee Rice for the foreseeable future, hey, we are set on the offensive side of the ball. Now let's talk about that grown man. Yes, I'm going to zone in on Isaiah Pacheco. And in his first 2 years, he has grabbed the hearts of Chiefs Kingdom. But I really believe he can elevate his game to a whole nother level. He is yet to crack that 1,000-yard barrier in his career. I believe he'll do that next year. But what I've loved to see that Isaiah Pacheco has worked on throughout the offseason is his craft, his game, what he needs to improve. And we've seen a slender Isaiah Pacheco. And I wonder how that basically translates to his game. Because when you focus on that grown man, all we know about is that thumper, that stomper, that hard-running running back. Does slender Isaiah Pacheco still have that style? I believe he will be speedier and elusive, which a lot of people don't zone in. Isaiah Pacheco is already fast, so I'm excited to see what a slender Isaiah Pacheco looks like. But in Isaiah Pacheco's career, he tends to average 4.4 to 4.6 yards a carry. I would like to see that increase to around the 4.8 to 5 yards a carry. Now, it doesn't seem huge, but it is, because if you're getting 5 yards a carry, that's literally half of 10 yards, which is half to a first down, and which then makes the Kansas City Chiefs offense unstoppable. And like I said, get him 1,000 yards, but also he hasn't had double-digit touchdowns in his career yet. If Isaiah Pacheco becomes a 1,000-yard rusher and let's say 10 to 12 touchdowns in a season, he'll be respected by the whole league. Usually when people talk about Isaiah Pacheco, they're just talking about his running style. They're not talking about him as a top 5 or top 10 back. I think that changes next year. And if you guys watch my live streams, which I know a lot of you do, the Kansas City Chiefs really need to zone in next year on running the ball, because Isaiah Pacheco can literally be the identity of the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Now, I know it sounds crazy because Patrick Mahomes is that identity. But a lot of the times last year, specifically in November and December, when the Kansas City Chiefs were trying to find themselves offensively, they turned to Isaiah Pacheco. And when that happened, that grown man ended up taking over those games. And if you find that identity early in the year, you're lethal. You still have Patrick Mahomes doing what he does, but then you have Pacheco, who can control the game, be a well-balanced, oiled machine, and no one's going to touch you next year. And those are the three players who I believe are in for breakout years for the Kansas City Chiefs. And if they do go crazy next year, it's going to be hard stopping the Kansas City Chiefs from three-peating. Now with that, Chiefs Kingdom, if you did like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel because we talked about the offense today. But in the coming days, we're zoning in on the defense. There's playmakers across the board. And I'm struggling who I want to talk about because I could talk about everyone. So y'all do not want to miss out on that. And also, please be sure to hit that big thumbs up as it does help the channel out oh so greatly. With that, I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.